Hi, welcome to bexbugoutsurvivor. I'm Bex, and today I'm going to show you what I've been wearing as my base layers all winter. What's worked for me, what hasn't. Some of the layers I've been wearing are just the polyester long johns, separate pant section, separate top, and then I changed over to merino wool, and I suppose that's where all the hype comes in. Merino wool, the best and the warmest, and I have found it quite the opposite. Regardless of polyester or merino wool, they're the compression long johns, so they're quite tight, and instantly, even when I'm not doing any exercise or walking at all, I've been cold. Now, they're designed to draw your sweat away, but they're drawing the sweat away because they're making the sweat, and then that sweat goes cold. Now, all these years and years, what I've been doing is using fleece, and it's what I'm doing now. I'll show you. I layer up in fleece. I find fleece to be the warmest, to just slip under a very thin pair of walking pants, and also in a sleeping bag. Just the fleece top and fleece pants really elevates that sleeping bag temperature, especially more so if you put your bivvy bag over it. So I bought a few examples with me. I'm just going to set down a little ground cloth so I don't get everything wet and muddy. And I'm in a quandary also here now of what to walk in. I was thinking originally of long johns and a pair of shorts, and then if it rains I've got either Gore-Tex or polyester rainproof trousers. Now, no matter what I choose, I'm going to sweat. Not in Gore-Tex with me. I know a lot of people have a problem with Gore-Tex. I'm not one of them. It served me for over 30 years. I've never been wet in Gore-Tex. Unless you sit down where it's been raining, it'll soak straight through. So when you find yourself a clearing, just pop them down to your knees, sit on your pack, and you keep your bum dry that way. Let's have a look at these first. Two-part army issue polyester long johns, and they're simple enough. They're base layers. They've never really done anything to keep me any warmer. Much the same, only merino wool. Now, both of these are very tight fitting. They're compression long johns, and I don't think compression is working for me. A loose fit, a very loose fit, fits me best. So given that I don't think either of them are doing it for me, if I was to use them, as you can see, is a little more compact, the merino wool, and I would say lighter. So if I was to choose, yeah, it would be merino wool for the fact it is lighter, a bit softer as well. When I talk about fleece, I mean these kind of jog pants here. Now, these are yoga pants. They're very thin and they're not heavy at all. It's not a tight fitting fit. It's not baggy either. The other thing I used to use were these much thicker jog pants. I think I could get away nicely with using a very thin walking pant all year round. So summer, just wear my regattas straight onto my skin, start feeling the cold a bit, reach down, get a nice fleece underneath it. I can walk in them without overheating. I can sleep in them in my sleeping bag. Another thing I walk, well, not so much walk with, is the bottom section to this here, but I do sleep in these. Now this is fleece lined and the pants section are thermally insulated, so no fleece. It will remind you a lot of the green and tan reversible softies, and a lot of lads love them. I've got a pair, but for hiking they are bulky and they weigh a hell of a lot more than these Mark IIs here. These are really ultra light. You won't notice these in your pack, and they don't take up much room either. And I actually double and triple up on my fleece. I've got 3 on at the moment. This is my fleece lined smock. There's another fleece and the other fleece. And what have I got underneath? Nothing. So one of them fleece is my base layer. The second fleece over traps the air, and another fleece here because it is quite a cold day. And aren't you going to be too hot with all that? I can hear you cry. Well, guess what? You are allowed to take layers off, and hence a layering system. They're not glued onto you. You can take one off, you can take the other off, you can put one back on, you can put all 3 on. I can sweat up a bit on my chest, but then again I do with merino, and I do with the polyester long john as well. I love these, absolutely love them, the Norgies. Now this Norgie here is the newer style Norgie that goes with this. I get a lot more benefit from fleece straight onto skin as a base layer. If I want a secondary base layer, well, guess what? I've got 2 of these, just like I have 2 of these. Now these army ones here, these are the micro fleece for winter, and they do a different kind of fleece and 3 seasons, but a couple of them, and I think I could be on par with the wool knit jumper that I really love in winter. But to backpack with, no, the wool jumper, as much as I love it, it takes up the volume in the pack, and you do feel the weight compared to these things here. I feel a brew coming on. Right then, what have I got in here? Water, a flask. I might make a flask rather than a cup, so I can have a swig on the way home. I've got a lot to consider, especially weathering it all up, i.e. waterproofing it. I'm going to have a look at different types of waterproofing for those fleeces or long johns, whatever I end up eventually choosing. And I have the Highlander pant, which is quite nice, a rain pant, but it will sweat you up. So getting the mix between warmth and keeping you dry without sweating, it has been a real conundrum this winter for me, which is why I was hoping to get a very lightweight pant, whether it be my hiking regattas or if you like using surplus. The MTP is a lot lighter and more compact than the DPM fatigues, and just pop in a pair of these underneath for winter. That will be a big weight saver, and that is what I'm about, just for winter, saving that little extra bit of weight and space in the pack, because I don't want to bring massive packs out just for 2 or 3 nights. It's just not worth it for me. I have no experience really of long johns. I've always had a dislike to them, and I wish I could be one of those people who like long johns and swear by them. I guess I'm just not one of them. And I wished I was one of them people, because they seem to be lightweight. Well, the merino is anyway. I'm always losing bits, so I'm going to keep everything together here. Leave my little coffee bag in for a bit, then it's steep. Give it a minute. But maybe I am using these merino wool long johns incorrectly, or expect too much of them. So what I'm going to do is have a slow walk back with the merino wool jersey. I'm not going to put the pants on, and a fleece. I think I've got to learn what marries up and what doesn't. In my experience, wool and fleece go together. I didn't have much success with the polyester. It was equally uncomfortable anyway. So I'm going to change now into the merino wool and a fleece. Take this off, so only 2 elements to walk home in. It's only about a 2-mile walk back through the woodlands, so it'll give me a chance to find out what I'm doing wrong, what I'm marrying it up with. Like I said, down and fleece work well with merino. I think I expected too much of it. Oh, it looks weak. Nice clean cup. Should be a good little experiment this, because it's just started getting a little bit chilly. Right there. Now this is my second layer coming off here. Now this is just, like I said, just kind of work fleece. It's nothing special. Oh, I can feel a hell of a temperature dip now, and my hands are getting cold, so it shouldn't blow on them really, but give them a rub. So out of this and into this. So it's a tight fit, as you can see, and I believe they have to be tight to work, and it will suck all the sweat from me. I always sweat here, but it's not as noticeable with fleece. It takes a long time for that sweat to build up, but it does kind of hold in fleece. But with merino, it's meant to drive the sweat out to the second layer, and I just haven't found that happening. It's trapping the sweat instead of wicking it to my second layer. And I know I must be doing something wrong already. Straight away, what's that been? A few seconds, elbows here, excuse me, elbows here, getting cold, noticeably colder than even not having it on at all. Not having it on at all. Oh, it's no good on its own like this. I was hoping I could wear this to walk above freeze point on its own. Oh, I can't wait to get this on. Oh, Oh, it's a little better, a little better. I'm going to zip up all the way. I think I'll put my scarf away as well. I don't think I'll bother with that. Oh wow, these fleeces that are cheap like this, hell of a difference. Remarkable difference. I'm not as warm like this. Not just stationary like this, not as warm. So I'm not going to give up on them. I don't want to give up on them. Now, half of you guys who have commented in the past say, oh, don't bother with long johns because you have the same problem I do. I just don't find them working. Others say merino is brilliant. They've had no issue with it. Others say merino is no better really than the polyester. Stick to the polyester army long johns. Well, they've never worked for me either. So I might just end up sticking with loose fitting fleece rather than tight fitting merino wool or tight fitting polyester. I should really do a head count on all my equipment. Something always ends up left behind. I think a little bit of movement and walking is going to warm up just this two-piece system. Remember, I walked in a three-piece system, so I don't know if I'm pushing my luck a bit here. But the aim of the game here, like I said before, is to use my lightweight pants all year round, whether it's winter or summer. In summer, obviously, I won't need a base layer. And then winter, I was hoping just to put some long johns on, especially with them being so lightweight, especially with them being compact. But I don't want them to turn into a boat anchor either, you know, just a waste of time having them. And I know you guys will have a lot more experience than me of whether this issue has happened with you also. Maybe some people are better off with compression insulation and some people are just better off with loose fitting insulation. I've got a feeling I'm just one of them people who benefits a lot more from loose fitting insulation, like my jog pants and this just on its own without the long johns, whether it's merino or polyester. God, it is cold. I didn't think it was that cold. I thought it was warmer, but just getting changed and being stationary, I can feel it. Now I'm not going to run home. I'm just going to take a really slow, steady walk and see how it is in, how long is it going to take me? Half an hour? 2 miles, is that right? 2 miles an hour? 2 miles an hour? That's my limit these days at my age. I don't put the pace up anymore. I'd rather enjoy the walk and stop and have a look around, swig a coffee, than have my head down in a map trying to get to a destination. I'm through with that. I'd rather enjoy my hike. Right, come on then. I'm neither too warm or too cold while I'm moving just in 2 layers. I really thought merino wool or any kind of long john would elevate my temperature and I'd get away with just 2 layers for walking, and it is above freezing but not by a lot. Actually, I'm going to slow my game down just in case I start sweating. But one thing I do know is when I do sweat with this merino wool long john on, it stays cold. I don't know if I could get away with a 2-part system just to walk in. Perhaps I could, but as soon as I stop moving, I need that 3rd layer on. Oh, back into some sort of civilization. Bit different, laying down your own trail, bushwhacking, and it's just to follow somebody else's. I'm just as equally balanced in temperature as I was high up in the hill to this lower elevation. I still have cold patches, elbows and chest here. I don't like putting base layers on to feel cold. Now, I'm a cold sleeper, so I don't know if that makes a scrap of difference or not, or whether some people, like I said before, loose layers or compression layers. I don't think I'm compression layers. I think I just like the loose fitting jog pants. Oh, well deserved brew. Right, what's your take on them? Long johns, compression fit, loose fit, polyester or merino? Now this merino does quite nice with down. However, like I said, I get a sweat here and it permutates to the down, and I don't want to get my down vest wet. There's a lot of considerations. I don't think I personally am a long johns person. Let me know what you think. Let me know what works for you, what hasn't. Take care of yourself. Happy trails.